These are my new makeup releases for June. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about some new makeup releases that I've spotted on Instagram. I'll pop the pictures up on here and then we're going to discuss, as you know. And I was able in the last couple of days to find quite a few new releases that have been announced or that are already being teased that I do want to discuss with you guys. But know that I always film this video a couple of days in advance, so it could be that I might miss something, especially because I'm in a different time zone and a lot of brands are in the US. It's actually the case that because I film this like then Friday morning very often, between me filming the video and being able to post it online, there's always some announcement, but I always make sure to roll them into the next video. So if there's anything here that you think like, hey, that's maybe missing, I might have missed it, but if it's something that's been announced really recently, then it could actually be that I just haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. And that is definitely the case here for this Kiko Milano launch that was announced like the day I posted the video, and people were already commenting on that video saying like, hey, what about the Kiko Cavalli collab? I'm like, I need to have time to film and edit before I can post it, right? So that's definitely that went into this. So the I think it's the Just Cavalli collection. These products looked really beautiful, but they were so much more expensive than regular Kiko products. I had a look at the website. They did some lovely things, but it isn't anything that really makes me go like, oh, I want these now. I really want to have these and sort of have them in my house per se. So the collection itself is very Cavalli. I think it suits Kiko well. Cavalli is an Italian brand as well, of course. So I thought that was fun, but it's not really anything that I really needed. And I think the blushes and bronzers were like 25 or close to 30 euros, which I was like, no, too much. I think Jones Road has a new foundation stick. And these are like the shades that they have. And this should have launched in middle of May. I like Jones Road, but there is quite a bit of fragrance in the product. So in the end, the two things that I had from them, I decided to declutter. Because unfortunately, I can't get over the scent of them. They're really beautiful products, really, really lovely. But that really, really strong citrusy scent isn't for me. There is a new palette from Glam Shop. This is the Renaissance palette as far as I know. Yes, and this is, it looks like baked shadows. I'm like, are those having a comeback? Are we doing baked shadows again? Interesting. I mean, this is very sort of BH Cosmetics coded in my brain. Yeah, it's a baked formula, so it's suitable for wet or dry application, and this looks like a really beautiful, very neutral eyeshadow palette. I don't have any experience with the baked formula from Glam Shop, but I have quite a few of their other palettes that I like, and this is one of those brands where I'm like, especially if you want to try indie brands and you're in continental Europe, then Glam Shop may be one to look into, because it's going to be a little bit cheaper than getting things from other places, but I feel that now we have some websites that cater to bringing all these indie brands to us a little bit more easily. The focus for me on Glam Shop has shifted quite a bit, but I do think this looks really nice. It's a little bit pinky. There are some warm tones, but overall it is a beautiful palette, and I think that looks really nice. Something that I have seen making the rounds already is the new Natasha Denona Tan eyeshadow palette. This, we all know, yes, this is a palette after my heart, but not the way it looks in the promo pictures. I've seen people posting with this on TikTok, and it looks a lot lighter and more cool toned in real life than in the pictures. It looks so much more warm toned and closer to the bronze palette in these images, I feel, than looking really close to like the I Need a Nude or anything like that. I almost feel like this is in between I Need a Nude and I Need a Warm, sort of. So there are cool tones in, but it's not a fully cool tone palette. There is warmth. There's a gold in the middle. It has some beautiful shades in. Do I need this though? And the answer to that is not. No, I really don't. Because I think if I use shades from my I Need a Warm and my I Need a Nude, that I can create the looks that I would create with this very, very easily. In fact, if you saw my declutter in March, I am actually getting rid of some of my Natasha Denona palettes because I just feel they are too repetitive, and this is very much part of the case. Does this still pull like on my heartstrings, and do I want it? Yes. But do I need it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Then the CoverGirl True Blend Sun Sculpt Bronzing Glow Serum. This looks pretty. This almost looks like it's like a dupe for like a high-end product, which of course isn't CoverGirl owned by Estee Lauder, so that could make sense because Estee Lauder owns a lot of brands. So yeah, this looks pretty. If we could get CoverGirl, I would be very interested in it, but sadly we can't. Maybe Max Factor makes a version at some point. I don't know. Maybe you already have one. You never know. I'm not that up to speed with what Max Factor has on offer. It's one of those brands that I glance at when I'm at the drugstore, but it seems like they haven't changed their display in like the last 15 years, so I never really know what's going on with them. There are some new eyeshadow sticks from Danessa Myricks. This is a shade extension. I don't love these dual-ended sticks because I don't get the use out of both shades. I just know it. I'm just not getting the shades in each stick that I would want. I would want like the pinky tone from the one stick and then the purpley tone from the other stick, and then I would have to buy two. And Danessa Myricks is not a cheap brand, so that's why I'm like, I'll be skipping out on this one. There's a new Blends Artistry palette by Blend Bunny. This is 40 shades. There seems to be some shimmers in the top row, and then the rest of it is like a matte rainbow. This makes a lot of sense for this brand and the way they sort of brand themselves also to more like of an MUA type of situation. So I think that this makes a lot of sense for the brand. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for my personal makeup collection because I already have so many things. But Blend Bunny's formula is one of the best ones in the game. So if you were looking for a full-on rainbow color story that can do it all, then I can very confidently tell you that I think that if you were to get just this one, it would sort out all of your needs. So I do really like this release. I think it's excellent. I'm not gonna knock it down at all, but 40 shades for me in one single palette, way too big. I already have too much eyeshadow as it is, and this is just not something that is going to be feasible for me to use at any time soon. Then we have the YSL Soft Glow Cushion. This looks pretty. I think I already talked about it last month, but we didn't have like these like pretty product images, you could say. And I get the point. Some people were saying like, I'm happy that these Western brands are now doing these kind of cushions because it means it comes in a better shade range. And with the YSL one, that's the case, but just because it's done by a Western brand doesn't mean you're getting a good shade range, let me tell you. Yes, you'll probably get more shades than in K-beauty brands, but when it comes to Western brands, with their cushion foundations, they don't always do the same thing. With the YSL, I'm hopeful that there are some nice things here. But then I do think it's very often in Western makeup the high-end brands that do the good shades and not the cheaper ones anyways. So I'm not entirely sure. I would still, especially if you're light to fair, don't go with these more expensive things. You can easily find this at the K-beauty like offerings for sure. Moira is now going to be available in the Netherlands, which is great. We've been getting so many brands finally coming into the Dutch drugstore and into the Dutch beauty stores. We've had Fenty Beauty being added, Rare Beauty being added, Moira. Like, there are so many exciting brands that are being launched. She Glam came too, but that's something I don't really use. So that's not really something I'm very excited for, but Moira I'm excited for because they do some really lovely things. I like a lot of their products that I've tried. Nothing has stood out to me to the point where I'm like, this is even better than other things I own. So I have decluttered quite a bit over time. But for a drugstore brand, it's actually a pretty solid pick. Then Essence had a new limited edition coming in June, the Chow collection. Very typical Essence, very typical summer products. You probably don't need this. I don't need this. Nobody needs this. This is, again, one of those things where I'm like, they're just testing to see what will sell well for the next round, so skip. Question Beauty is coming out with Chapter 4, the Garden of Iridescent Wings collection. This came out mid-May, and this looks beautiful. Question Beauty is one of those brands where I'm like, I do want to try them, but I do feel like the way it's branded, I'm not sure whether I'm the target market for it. It is available through MONOLITH, so I could perhaps request something in PR, but nothing they've released has really sparked my interest to the point where I'm like, right, I want that. I need that in my life. So with this, I'm like, I like it. I really like the look of it. I think it's beautiful, beautiful like colors and shifts and all that. It seems to be highly pigmented, so if you're an eyeshadow lover, I'm sure you're going to love this. But for me, I'm going to skip until I find the perfect one. And like with Essence, we have a Catrice limited edition collection that launched. This is the Core Essentials limited edition collection. I think this already came out at the end of May. I mean, like with the Essence thing, it's just, again, some products that nobody else needed, and they just need to stop doing these things, I feel. Like, Essence and Catrice need to stop doing so many different launches. I'm just gonna, like I said, focus on the 6-month ones that they do for their regular range, and I'm gonna ignore all the limited edition collections. There's a new Barbie x Glamlight collab. I missed this one because it came out on May 1st, so I'm talking about it a little bit late. But this looks beautiful. Is it really? Yeah, it's got pink, so it's Barbie. But it's not really for me. You know what this reminds me of a little bit if I look at all the shades? One of the Patrick Ta palettes with like the mattes and then the shimmers. But then there's some other things in here. It's a bit like that rosy toned Patrick Ta palette. Too much, so in my opinion. There is a new matte cream eyeshadow from Makeup by Mario. There are a lot of like neutral shades here. Nothing really that fun or creative actually. Maybe you're supposed to use these as eye bases as well. I don't know. But these could be nice. But then if I could use it as an eye base, I would have wanted a white too, which we're not getting. There's a nice gray, but everything else doesn't really spark my interest. Shades don't appeal to me. I don't need cream eyeshadow per se. I have plenty of them already. Don't need this one. And then we're getting the talk of the town, the new Marc Jacobs launch. This was already announced such a long time ago that this was happening, and I think that every beauty lover who remembers the Marc Jacobs line from way, way back was hoping that it would be the same. This looks very different in terms of packaging and what it does. I do have some other slides somewhere with like some more overviews of what is launching. It is a full collection. It isn't just one product and then they're rolling it out. This should be released now. So May 31st, this should have come out. Yeah, this is something. Oh, here we have the full review. So there's eyeshadows. I think there's like a bronzer type product, like a cheek stick kind of thing. And I like that there's like the daisy print because that, of course, is reminiscent to the perfumes. There's some lipsticks here as well, some eyeliners, some mascara. I think there's like a gel thing kind of thing, but these aren't the products that we got when this brand was around first try. So we'll see how it does once this launches and people are going to start giving feedback. I'm very excited to see what this brand is going to come out with. And then this I thought was an exciting announcement because Cosmic Brushes has decided to ship to the USA. At least they figured out a way to make their products more easily available in the United States. So that's great. You need to go to their Instagram and read how this happens. I'm not entirely sure, but I thought it would be good to share. And then I only just recently bought some Violette FR products. I'm actually wearing the eyeshadow that I bought when I was in London today, together with my MAC Smoky Mauve eyeshadow, and it's the perfect pairing. I wanted to go a little bit smoky on the outside and make it brighter in the inner corner, so that's been lovely. But they've now come out with Plume blushes, so now we get a blush range to match the eyeshadow. Lovely. I'm liking the look of the purple. Of course, not entirely sure I need it, but for once, it's not like 6 shades of the same shade of peach. It's still 5 warm tones and only 1 cool tone though. But at least we're getting a brown, a peach, like a yellowy tone, a red, and a purple. I feel like this is a touch different compared to other blush releases we've had. Still not super excited for this one. I now have a couple of products from the brand to test out, and that's it. I'm first going to test these out. Another new Blend Bunny release. This is the psilocybin. It's one of those chemicals that make you go like all fuzzy brained if you eat certain mushrooms. I think I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. But this is part like gray tones and then some really nice colorful shades on the other side. This looks really beautiful. I had hoped that this would already be on Monolith when the new launch was, but it wasn't, so I think this is still coming. Not entirely sure when this is being released. Oh, May 29th. That's when it was released. So that's probably why it wasn't on Monolith yet, because they had their drop 2 days later. So it always takes a little while for them to get everything. But there's cheek palettes in this collection as well. Some lip products in this collection. This looks beautiful. Depending on what is coming out in the next couple of months on Monolith, and depending on how they, like if they are sending out PR or not and how they do it, this may be something that's on my radar. Do I need it? No. But you know, I'm a sucker for these cool tones, and to have cool tones with colorful shades in one giant palette, I don't know why, but this one is speaking to me. Then this is not something I have a color story reveal for yet. This is by Glaminatrix. This is the Muse palette, and it's sort of like trying to make this like a community thing. So they're asking people, what colors do you think should go into this packaging? So if you want to participate, I'm not sure if you still can. This post that I found was posted on the 26th of May, so it was a little while ago, but maybe you can still comment underneath to share your thoughts. Then I have something that is making its way to me. This is the Cosmic Cove eyeshadow palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. Was this something that I needed in my life? No, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is already giving Blend Bunny, Psycho Cybele, whatever vibes. It's bright, it's colorful, it's got some gray tones in. I think this looks really stunning. I decided to request this in PR from Monolith with the previous drop with the code that I got. So this is something I'm going to be testing out in July for you. And then the other thing that I requested from the Monolith PR list is this one, the Huldra eyeshadow palette from Singe Beauty. The Succulent Dew palette is still on the wish list on Monolith, but I haven't tried Singe eyeshadow yet, and I do want to try them. So this eyeshadow palette it looks very yummy, very murky. I like the green tones with like the purple tones. This is even more up my street than the Succulent Dew. So now that if I have this and I like it and it tickles the itch, I'm not entirely sure whether I'm still going to order the Succulent Dew because I like this better. It's a little bit more unique in my brain. I'm not sure if it's as unique as it looks, but we'll find out. Lisa Eldridge has a limited edition collection, which is a Marilyn Monroe collection. Marilyn Monroe's 100th birthday would have been like this month, I believe, if she was still alive. So we're seeing a lot of Marilyn content, which makes me happy. I like a bit of Marilyn Monroe. We got some lip products in here. I think there's like a highlighter kind of situation. Let me see, does it say? Oh, there's a Balm concentrate, refillable lipsticks, velveteen lip colors, a kitten lash mascara, a lip liner, a gloss embrace, and you can get the entire collection for $295. So that's what that collection is like. I like it, but I do feel like we're just getting the packaging, really. I do think... Yeah, so Norma Jean is a lipstick that's like limited edition, but the other shades, I believe, aren't. So most of these colors are going to say, but they probably won't be in the limited edition packaging. I think that's how I'm reading it anyways. There's a new eyeshadow palette from Nomad. This is the Electric Carnival, which is an all shimmer eyeshadow palette that is a little bit higher priced than other Nomad things. I believe this is $79 or anything like that. It's 12 shades. It looks stunning, but she's so warm toned and a little bit random feeling. So I'm like, is this for me? I don't think so. So I'm going to be skipping out on that one, but it looks beautiful. I've heard some really great things already. Now, something that excited me, I talked about, I did a lipstick video the other day where I talked about finding a lipstick finally that mimics what Gash by Urban Decay looked like on me. And what did Urban Decay announce like 2 days later? Relaunching Gash eyeshadow, which has already sold out. I'm really, I'm starting to see, and they're now asking people what they should bring back from the archives. I'm like, Urban Decay, are we having a moment? Are you going back to your edgy roots? I hope so, because Gash eyeshadow, I don't have green eyes, so this isn't really for me, but my eyes do look a little bit green in certain lighting, so I think I could pull this off. But yeah, this is something that's really lovely if you have green eyeshadow, green eyes. This eyeshadow is great, but I believe it's already sold out almost everywhere, and they're saying it's limited edition. But if it's already sold out, methinks they might bring it back. There's a new summer collection from Rhode, including some bronzers, and this too dark. That was the only thing I thought. I was like, yes, it's very shade inclusive on the top end of the spectrum, but where's the inclusivity at the bottom end of the spectrum? Because that lightest shade is not a bronzer for me. Too warm toned, too dark, not gonna work. Then I have a Juicy or Juicy eyeshadow. No? Then we have the Juicy Velvet Cream Blush. This looks okay, but here I feel the colors are a little bit too samey. I mean, there's 8 shades and I can virtually not see a difference between like 5 of them. So that makes me a little bit disappointed. Do I need this? No. I have other blushes by this brand that I do rate really highly. The ones that come in the like tortoise shell-like packaging, those are really, really good. So I'm gonna stick to those. Then ABH has launched this Magic Touch Blush Trio in Purple Palace, which if you're cool toned, then I think you're going to love this. But they're also putting this on lips and they're putting this everywhere. So I'm not entirely sure. I think, is it cream then? Silky gel-like texture. Okay, so you're gonna have to like that. It won't be available until July 1st though. I only found this a couple of days ago, so this is still coming up. And then I think this is one of the things that people have already seen me talking about, the Epic Beauty launch. So Epic Beauty is a brand that was started by the owners of MONOLITH, and they just dropped their first item. This is the Jewels of Eternity eyeshadow palette. If you're reading my community tab, you will have already seen me share some swatches from this palette, as well as some close-ups. So I am actually reviewing this for you in June already. So this is already in, and this was sent to me in PR. Milani has a new blurring finishing powder. So this is a baked powder. It fits Milani to do something like this, right? They have those big bronzers and the big blushes. So having this powder makes a lot of sense. In my brain, they already had a product like this, but it may have been reformulated. Looks stunning. Not really for me, though. I'm not in the market for a powder. Bella Beauty Bar is teasing the Arch of Color collection. This isn't something I have a color story for yet, but it should be coming soon. I'm expecting colorful things from this with the cover and all that. I hope they don't disappoint. Morphe is doing some new things as well. This is their new 3-pan eyeshadow palettes, and these look pretty. These are really cute. They should be $13. And they're available through TikTok Shop, in case you're wondering. Apparently, we're getting TikTok Shop in the Netherlands this month. That's what I've heard. But yeah, those look nice. I like my little 6-pan that I have from them, so like that. Simply Posh Cosmetics has launched the Strawberry Picnic eyeshadow palette. This will be available on June 12th, so this is still coming up. And this looks stunning. Simply Posh is so good Simply Posh is just so good at making these eyeshadow palettes that look really aesthetically pleasing. The reds on one side and then the neutrally greens on the other. This looks like you being outside doing a picnic. Love it, but not necessarily for me. I've tried Simply Posh now. It's not my favorite formula. Then there is another new limited edition collection from Catrice, the Seashell Stories. I like the look of the blushes with the little like seashell design in there. That looks really pretty. Do I need this? No. It doesn't say here when it comes out. But this is one of those products. Whenever Catrice products are really pretty, they tend to be very picked over at my local drugstore. So I don't think there's any chance that I'm going to be able to find this. More new Morphe. These are matte 6-pans, so these don't have a speck of shimmer in, which we all know is not my preference, right? This is not my preference. So that is definitely there. I love the look of those, but not for me. There's a MAC Viva Glam collab with Chapel Rowan, which I think is really lovely. There's 2 lipsticks and there is a lip gloss. Not my shades, but I'm happy for her to have this collab. The MAC Viva Glam program has collabed with so many different stars over the years, and of course all the money goes to, well, not all the money I think, but the money goes to a good cause, which I think is also really good. And then, of course, one of the most controversial releases. This is the Patrick Ta Transition Blushes, and there's a lot of buzz about these. A lot of people are talking down on this product, saying, like, why do we need this? We don't need to transition our blush. And that he has stolen this idea from a different creator who's gone viral with this technique of having, like, 2 different shades of blush to transition your blush. Apparently it's a really old makeup artist trick to do this, and it's already something that Kevin Aquan wrote about in his book, and that Makeup by Esther, I believe, is the creator who's popularized this, is the person who's gone viral with it, and that Patrick Ta is trying to ride this wave a little bit too much. And I like the idea of this, but the fact that it again comes in a duo and it's meant to transition with the other blushes. I think if he had just launched this as like cooler toned or lighter versions of his regular blush range, it would have sold a lot better. He would have perhaps gotten a lot less feedback from people. But there is a like a liquid version of this, and then there is a little compact. The shades are smaller, but with Patrick Ta, I've tried some of the blush before in the past, and you get massive pans in the original. So to me, these new transition blushes, also because a lot of them look a lot paler and a lot more cool toned than the original blush series that he does, it actually has my heart going a little bit like, ooh, should I try Patrick Ta again? You know, because one of my main issues with the Patrick Ta line is how warm toned it is, that it's very sort of like it's very obvious makeup-y, which is not always what I like. So these shades and then this product, I think that fair skinned people will love him for this. So I don't think that, you know, when it comes to the product and its intended use, yeah, that's a bit superfluous and a bit like meh, meh, but the product itself, if I just look at the product itself and not the hype around it, then I'm like, that's actually really good. And then another product that has sparked some controversy online is the new Haus Lab bronzer. So Haus Lab's coming out with the bronzing veil. I only was able to find this image, but on TikTok, Gloria, I think that's how you pronounce her name, already showed these products, and she's someone with a very deep skin tone. She's testing out all these things like, do brands do things for people with deep skin tones? And she swatched the deepest shade that's available from this line, and she was like, what's going on here? But also, if I just look at the shades from this display, then I think even the lightest shade isn't going to be light enough. So it's a bit like with the Hailey Bieber Rhode collab, or it's a bit like with the Rhode release, where I'm like, is it light enough? Is this going to work for people with fair skin, you know? So I think it's this launch isn't even inclusive in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, there was a bit of a controversy there. But yeah, this product hasn't officially been released yet. It's just being teased now. But you can already find her video, and if you want to see the product, you can. There's a new loose setting powder from Dior. Just so you know, FYI. Dior does nice powders as far as I know, so this could be a nice one. I don't need it per se, but you do you. Iconic London has a new blush, and I was looking at this. This is the Soft Touch Buildable Blurring Blush and Bronzer. And this is so K-Beauty coated. This is so K-Beauty. It's even that putty texture that's in the Up Here thing that I showed you yesterday. It's still lying next to me. I'm filming the videos back to back, but yeah. That to me is a teensy tiny bit crazy. It looks okay. I'm not a huge fan of the shade selection per se, but yeah, this is okay. I didn't know that Iconic London as a brand was still around. Refi has some new bronzers. This is the Water Bronzer Liquid Cushion. Told you we were going to get cushion bronzers with ceramides in. I quite like the look of that lighter one. That could be a nice one. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Maybe if I find some Refi in my life, that I can try that. But yeah, I am intrigued by all the like cushiony things we're getting. I love a cushion. I love cushion foundations. I like cushion blushes. I know it makes no sense because I find things with sponge tips, like the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty ones, too unhygienic to use. But I'll happily use a cushion blush. Make it make sense. I don't know. And then this is the last thing I want to show you. This is by Desique. This is their Polly Pocket collection. How fun. I just wanted to share this for the nostalgia. Polly Pocket was something that I loved when I was a kid. I had one of them. And this is all like Polly Pocket packaging, and then this like really cute. It's cute. It's cute. It's Polly Pocket. Do I need it? No. But does it look cute? Absolutely yes. So that brings me to the end of the video. Those were all of the new makeup releases that I wanted to chat about with you guys. Let me know in a comment down below if there's anything I missed that you looked into and you're like, hey, isn't that new too. But yeah, those were the releases that I wanted to chat about. And then I'll be back really, really soon with a new video with you guys. So if you want to chat some more, then you can. And then I'll see you again really, really soon in a new video. Bye-bye.